Wanted for attempted murder, this dangerous 39-year-old criminal turned a peaceful Ohio afternoon into a chaotic battlefield after opening fire on police and hijacking a vehicle to flee. He tore across a golf course before ramming head-on into a police cruiser, flipping it over. It all began when Julius Edwards, who had just committed a brutal stabbing in Canton, became the subject of an intense manhunt by state police and a U.S. Marshals task force. After being spotted in a Kia Telluride in Hudson, Edwards ran a red light and caused a multi-vehicle crash that injured several innocent people.
Dispatch has been locked. Dispatch has been locked.
Putting update location.
A brutal head-on collision. The getaway car sent the police vehicle flipping through the air, leaving it completely overturned in the middle of a residential area. Amidst the acrid smoke from the deployed airbags, the reckless driver scrambled to open the door, leapt out, and fled like a madman, a desperate bid to escape by a man who knew he was facing a life sentence. The stolen car was billowing thick smoke. Edwards kicked the door open and bolted, attempting to escape for a second time. But this time, dozens of officers armed with rifles immediately swarmed in. After a foot chase of just a few hundred meters, police tackled him face down onto the grass and clamped him in handcuffs.
Get out of the car!
You ran my cruiser. I'm standing here with the vehicle. They're in foot pursuit. Yeah, me! Yeah.
Opening fire on police, carjacking in broad daylight, turning a golf course into a racetrack, and smashing a patrol car. Every move this reckless driver made was a desperate life-or-death gamble. He had no intention of slowing down or backing off for any obstacle, ready to trample over every legal boundary and public safety standard just to prolong his fleeting moments of freedom.
Jesus Christ. Stop!
Confronting a suspect who had opened fire on police just moments earlier, the foot chase felt as tense as entering a war zone. Every stride the officers took required a perfect balance of speed and heightened vigilance, given the risk that the suspect might draw his weapon and retaliate again. Hemmed in on all sides and exhausted from the collision, the criminal had no time to plot an escape before law enforcement officers rushed in to subdue him, stripping away any chance of resistance and pinning his hands firmly behind his back. His reckless attempt to fight back came to a definitive end, leaving him utterly powerless. After hours of terrorizing the area from Canton to Stowe, Julius Edwards finally met his reckoning behind bars. The court set an astronomical bail of $3 million, effectively extinguishing any hope of his release pending trial. Now, the 39-year-old faces a barrage of grave charges. Intentional murder, stemming from stabbing his girlfriend 15 times carjacking, opening fire on police, and ramming a patrol car until it flipped. A harsh sentence of decades behind bars or even life imprisonment is the fitting price for someone who showed such blatant disregard for the law and human life. What are your thoughts on the punishment facing this cold-blooded criminal? The incident took place in Alexander, Arkansas. Upon receiving a report of a suspected stolen Hyundai Sonata traveling along Highway 111, Arkansas State Police, ASP Trooper Byrd, immediately pulled in behind the vehicle to close the distance. As soon as the driver spotted the patrol car's emergency lights, he did not hesitate to floor the accelerator, speeding recklessly through city streets in a desperate attempt to escape. However, challenging a seasoned and highly experienced ASP trooper on the road is never a wise decision.
We are West Azalea, going to Alexander.
For Adam 87 is actually behind the tree. They're in Alexander at Don Parker at West Azalea. We're trying to get out.
Observing that the road ahead was clear of oncoming traffic and safe to proceed, Officer Byrd decided to end the pursuit without a moment's hesitation. He smoothly maneuvered his cruiser alongside, aligned his front bumper with the Hyundai's rear quarter panel, and executed a textbook pit maneuver. The decisive strike instantly broke the vehicle's traction, sending the Sonata into a 180-degree spin and sliding onto the grassy shoulder. The patrol car immediately pulled up to pin the suspect's vehicle, effectively sealing off any chance of escape.
Keep your hands so we can see them now. Do not move your hands, you understand me? Keep your hands. Do not move your hands. Jacob. Jacob, do not move. Do you understand me?
Officers quickly drew their weapons, closed in, established a high-security perimeter, and ordered the driver to step out and surrender. Upon making contact, the authorities immediately recognized him as an old acquaintance, a man named Ricky who had only recently been released from prison. Caught red-handed with the evidence, he repeatedly tried to deny wrongdoing, claiming he had taken the vehicle solely to look for his older brother. Not stopping there, as he was being escorted to the patrol car, he changed tactics and began complaining of severe leg pain following a recent surgery, while pleading with the officers to call his mother and arrange care for his pet dog. This belated attempt to play the victim only elicited a derisive laugh from the officer. After all, the man had shown no signs of pain whatsoever when he was flooring the accelerator and speeding recklessly to evade capture.
Hey, we're 1015, Jester. Do you hear me?
Upon realizing that multiple outstanding arrest warrants against her would be exposed during a traffic stop, a woman suddenly floored the accelerator, speeding recklessly at an astonishing 225 kilometers per hour. Turning a Georgia highway into a deadly racetrack, she was confident her BMW could outrun the authorities. However, her reckless flight was brought to a halt by a decisive PIT maneuver executed by a Jones County Sheriff's Sergeant. What exactly unfolded during this high-speed chase? Let's take a look. The incident took place in Jones County, Georgia, when Sergeant Travis Walker pulled over a BMW driven by Demetric Bazzi. Noticing the BMW slow down as it entered a curve, Sergeant Walker seized the moment to pull alongside and execute an initial pit maneuver. However, with a reckless reflex, the female driver sharply swerved to avoid the point of impact. The glancing blow caused the vehicle to sway slightly but failed to break its traction. Capitalizing on the opening, she slammed on the gas and sped away, extending the heart-pounding chase for miles to come. The patrol car's speedometer needle began to climb frantically. 100, 120. Then hit the 141 mile per hour mark, equivalent to nearly 230 kilometers per hour. The scenery on either side of the road blurred into a hazy streak of light. At this breakneck speed, the engine's roar tore through the air. A mere split-second lapse or a slight tremor at the steering wheel would be enough to turn the getaway into a catastrophic explosion in broad daylight. Over a stretch of many miles, the female driver repeatedly ran red lights and weaved dangerously in and out of traffic, cutting off other vehicles. At one point, while navigating a slow curve, she even recklessly swerved to evade the police's initial attempt to close the gap, flooring the accelerator to keep going. The decisive moment arrived when the convoy approached a large cargo truck ahead, forcing the BMW to slow down to approximately 85 miles per hour. Denying the suspect any further chance to weave through lanes and cause a crash, Sergeant Walker quickly maneuvered his cruiser to place his front bumper against the BMW's rear right corner and executed a decisive pit maneuver. The precision strike instantly broke the car's traction, sending the BMW spinning 180 degrees before it skidded sideways and careened into the grassy median separating the lanes. Demetric Bazzi was immediately taken into custody and transported to the Jones County Jail. In addition to facing outstanding warrants, she now confronts a series of extremely serious new charges: high-speed flight from police, reckless driving, endangering the lives of others, and multiple traffic violations. Her decision to deliberately speed away only serves to compound the severity of the penalties she faces. The incident occurred around noon on June 5 in Franklin County, Ohio. While stopped at the intersection of Refugee Road and South Hamilton Road, a sheriff's deputy spotted a 2025 Honda Civic displaying suspicious characteristics and an unusual license plate. Upon seeing the patrol car activate its emergency lights and begin to follow, the driver of the Honda Civic immediately floored the accelerator and sped off recklessly. Throughout the ensuing chase, the driver engaged in extremely dangerous behavior, repeatedly weaving between lanes, running multiple red lights, and even driving directly into oncoming traffic, forcing dozens of innocent motorists to swerve sharply onto the shoulder to avoid a catastrophic head-on collision. As soon as it cleared the intersection, the Honda Civic instantly became a ticking time bomb on the streets. Desperate to shake off the patrol car, the driver floored the accelerator, weaving recklessly through heavy traffic at breakneck speed. He brazenly ran multiple red lights and even recklessly swerved into oncoming traffic. Dozens of innocent drivers were forced to make heart-stopping sharp swerves toward the roadside to avoid a catastrophic head-on collision with the fugitive speeding vehicle. Throughout the tense, high-stakes pursuit, which lasted nearly 10 minutes, Franklin County Sheriff's deputies had to maintain close proximity while constantly scanning the road ahead to anticipate traffic conditions and ensure public safety. When confronting reckless speeders racing at over 150 kilometers per hour, police must carefully weigh every move from executing a decisive pit maneuver to end the chase or laying spike strips ahead, to coordinating a tactic to box the vehicle in from all sides. Each decision represents a high-stakes balancing act between apprehending the offender and ensuring public safety. After a harrowing 10-minute chase, the vehicle approached the intersection of Tussing Road and Hill Road, where a line of cars was waiting at a red light. Instead of stopping, the driver recklessly floored the accelerator, attempting to squeeze through a narrow gap between the two vehicles ahead to force a way through. It was a mad decision. The Civic slammed directly into both civilian cars. The violent, high-speed impact lifted the vehicle off the ground, causing the Honda Civic to tip onto its side and skid along the road to the horror of onlookers. Just seconds after the crash, Franklin County and Columbus police immediately cordoned off the scene. Officers approached the overturned vehicle using ballistic shields, repeatedly shouting commands for everyone inside to raise their hands in surrender. As the doors were jammed shut by the impact, an officer used a tool to smash the rear window. The three individuals then scrambled out one by one through the broken opening, under strict control, and were handcuffed on the spot. Police confirmed that the Honda Civic was a stolen vehicle. Of the three occupants, the driver was hospitalized for injuries. One was released after questioning, and another passenger was immediately jailed due to an outstanding felony warrant in Franklin County. Meanwhile, the driver of the vehicle that was struck fortunately sustained only minor injuries. The reckless driver now faces a series of serious charges: vehicle theft, high-speed flight from police, reckless driving causing a serious accident, and felonious assault. What are your thoughts on the recklessness of this car theft ring and the safe apprehension executed by the Ohio police? The incident began when an automated license plate reader in Olympia detected a recently stolen red sedan. When police signaled for the vehicle to stop, the driver immediately floored the accelerator, speeding onto US Route 101 before merging directly onto Interstate 5. The high-speed pursuit was promptly handed over to the Thurston County Sheriff's Office. On the highway, the suspect drove recklessly, reaching speeds of 130 miles per hour. approximately 210 kilometers per hour, and repeatedly weaving between lanes, even driving along the gravel-strewn shoulder in an attempt to break the pursuing patrol car's line of sight.
Received Ops 4 is going to be on a code 10 for county pursuit on Ops 4. We're losing time in traffic. Don't know if it's north or south this time.
At high speeds on a busy highway, executing a traditional pit maneuver could cause a catastrophic rollover for other vehicles. Police decided to deploy a secret weapon, the Grappler wheel snaring device. As the stolen vehicle approached the Highway 93 interchange, it was impeded by traffic ahead and forced to slow down to approximately 80 miles per hour. Sensing the perfect moment, the officer exclaimed, "Now or never," and accelerated to close the gap. A Y-shaped metal arm extending from the front of the patrol car lowered, sliding directly toward the stolen vehicle's rear right wheel. In a split second, a high-strength nylon net shot out, wrapping tightly around the wheel assembly and locking it to the police vehicle's front end. With a decisive stomp on the brakes by the patrol officer, the fleeing vehicle was instantly reined in and brought to a complete halt on the shoulder, leaving the driver utterly helpless.
South at 93rd, we'll be on the film stuff.
Thanks to Grappler technology, a high-speed chase exceeding 200 kilometers per hour ended smoothly without endangering other road users, and the stolen vehicle was recovered intact to be returned to its owner. The reckless driver was booked into Thurston County Jail on multiple charges: motor vehicle theft, high-speed flight from police, and reckless driving. A textbook example of cutting-edge technology in action by the Washington State Police. What are your thoughts on the effectiveness of the Grappler wheel snaring device?
Good.
Woo. That's Grappler.
Yeah.
Grappler one?
Thank you.
How fast?
74.
Piece of trash paper right there in the old envelope. Yeah, let me have that here. All right, what's your name? My name is
On the afternoon of July 18, on the I-630 highway in Little Rock, Officer Cass of the Arkansas State Police pulled over a black Lexus for speeding. When asked for documentation, the female driver explained that she was rushing to take her child to the doctor and had forgotten both her license and proof of insurance. She also wrote down a fake name on a scrap of paper. However, the moment the officer turned his back to return to his patrol car to run a records check, the woman slammed on the gas and sped recklessly toward the Rodney Parham exit, initiating a dangerous escape. The reckless driver sped wildly through densely populated residential areas at 80 to 90 miles per hour, repeatedly ignoring numerous stop signs and red lights. After turning onto Cantrell Road, the vehicle surged onto I-430 South, with the driver pushing the speed to a staggering 122 miles per hour.
Turned on Breckenridge Drive. No traffic clear. Crossing Danbury Court.
For fleeing suspects, pushing the speedometer past 120 miles per hour is a desperate, reckless gamble to escape. But for highway patrol troopers in states like Arkansas or Ohio, running at triple-digit speeds is just another day at the office. Backed by hundreds of hours of intense EVOC tactical driver training, these officers don't flinch at lethal velocities. Behind the wheel, it's pure ice in their veins. While keeping their cruisers pinned at breakneck speeds, they are constantly reading the road, calculating traction around every bend, and watching surrounding traffic, waiting for that split-second window to execute a clean, decisive takedown.
Going into the GDI. We need it.
Realizing the vehicle posed a catastrophic threat to other traffic, Officer Cass immediately pulled alongside and executed a decisive pit maneuver. At breakneck speed, the impact caused the Lexus to instantly lose traction. It slammed into the roadside steel guardrail, rolled over multiple times, and was flung across to the grassy median, separating the highway lanes amidst a cloud of billowing dust and smoke. Officer Cass immediately threw open the door and rushed toward the wrecked vehicle to rescue the child, as initially claimed. However, the cabin was completely empty. The entire story about rushing a child to the hospital was a fabrication. Because she was not wearing a seatbelt, the tremendous force of momentum had thrown the female driver from the cabin. She sustained only minor injuries. The officer immediately administered first aid on site and radioed a request for MEMS to dispatch an emergency ambulance to the scene.
Have that 16 expedite.
We have shallow breathing. Come on, babe. Wake up. Yeah. No, she got ejected.
35 videos, heard of that.
No, nothing I can see. I mean, she got a little bit on her arm.
Hit the middle ground real quick.
We were at 120 when I TBI'd her.
Breathing.
Yeah, I see her shallow breathing, but that's it. She hasn't, her eyes haven't moved.
The individual was subsequently identified as Diviana Bullock and urgently transported to UAMS Hospital for treatment under close supervision. An arrest warrant will be executed immediately upon her discharge. Bullock faces a series of serious charges: felony fleeing high speed resulting in severe consequences, reckless driving, providing false information to law enforcement, and driving without a license. A clumsy lie led to a high-speed gamble that nearly cost a life. What do you think of this decisive intervention by the Arkansas State Police? Leave a comment below, hit like, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with more heart-pounding chases.